Welcome to Ready, Set, Write, where we give serious writing critique without taking ourselves too seriously. My name is Lindsay, and with me here today is...
Aaron Blaylock.
Adrienne Quintana.
Janette Rallison.
Booher.
All right, and this is how our show works. We are going to read our narrator is going to read a submission that's been sent in. That's the first page from a book. And we are going to review it as if we were agents or editors. And at any point, if we decide that we would stop reading that manuscript, we will hit the buzzer.
Right. And then we'll rate it. We'll give it a rating of ready, set, or write. If we think it's ready, that you should send it in. If it's set, maybe you have a good premise, but there's some changes, small changes to make. And write is just an overall...
To start again.
Start somewhere else.
Yeah. Start with a different story. No,
Start
maybe not.
with
Maybe
a
the idea is
college
good.
degree.
No, stop it.
Don't quit your education. No, just kidding.
She was
Because-
so nice.
I got it.
She was, so
She was nice, and now she's not the narrator. Now she has a buzzer, and it all comes out the edge.
The
The
buzzer.
edge.
Come out. She becomes a sparkly vampire.
Last episode, she's like, and remember, we're not judging you as a person, we're judging your work. And now she's like, go to college.
You put that buzzer in front of someone, and it just goes through.
Mad
Change
with
a
power.
little bit of power. Anyway.
So today,
But remember, with great power
power.
comes
Great
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 responsibility.
responsibility.
So today I'm reading an untitled entry. So here we go.
That's a strange title.
Yeah, I like it. Very nondescript. Mom, wake up. Malone Collins was barely aware of a child's voice and a small hand nudging her shoulder. Mom. Her eyes snapped open. The bedroom was still dark, the light from outside barely filtering in through the blinds. There was enough light in the room, however, to make out the scared look on her small son's face. Mickey, what's wrong? He scrambled up into bed with her, cradling her face in his hands, with his nose just inches away from hers. Mom, I think there's one of them coyotes in the house or something. She sat up quietly, pulling Mickey close to her, and listened.
Okay, so if we need to know what's going on in her mind, and I'm not getting that. Like, where is she just going, oh, why does he always bother me, or what's in the house? You know, I need to be in her mind more and get her reaction.
Another coyote in the house.
Yeah,
All right.
pesky coyotes. Always getting in.
She sat up quietly, pulling Mickey close to her, and listened. All she could hear was the ticking of Aunt Tony's clock, and... See? Did you hear it? Mickey's voice and little body trembled. Malone smiled, hoping her son couldn't see her. She hugged him a little tighter. Mickey, my dear, cute boy, that's not a coyote, babe. That's just Aunt Tony's snoring. It was all she could do not to laugh, and not to get frustrated because the best sleep she had in a while had been interrupted. He pulled away to look at her.
That actually kind of kicked me out of the story a little bit because, you know, she's showing us, she's doing a good job of showing us that she's not laughing. I mean, instead of telling us, and now she stopped and told us instead of just continuing on with the story, she could leave that sentence out, in my opinion. So,
Okay.
or weave it in a different way.
He pulled away to look up at her, his face shadowed, but his eyes shining up at her. Are you sure? Yes, I'm very sure. No need to tell him that her aunt's snoring was a very familiar sound to her since she hadn't...
That whole sequence there sounded awkward to me. I mean, maybe if I read it, it wouldn't sound as awkward. You know, it wouldn't read as awkward. But just hearing it, it sounded awkward.
So you're buzzing my awkward reading.
Possibly.
All right, we'll do it again. No need to tell him that her aunt's snoring was a very familiar sound to her since she hadn't been getting much sleep in the few weeks.
I would have buzzed it.
In the few
And I
weeks.
should buzz it there, too, just because we've already talked about the sleep. We were talking about, you know, that she doesn't get enough sleep, and now we're still talking about it again. So I think we already get that. And I think the wording was a little bit awkward. I think that's something that you should do when you have dialogue or you're going back and forth. Read it out loud. And if it's hard to say, it's hard to read.
I will comment on your reading, though. It's Mikey, not Mickey. Just saying.
Dang it. It is Mikey.
Hey, Mickey, you're so kind.
I apologize.
We just
That
know
is.
him.
But
That
we
is
got
Mikey
it.
the
We
whole
got it.
time.
We got it.
Mickey's a good idea too.
Mikey.
Mickey's good. I mean,
Consider
Mickey-
changing it to Mickey. I like Mickey. Wow.
He likes it.
All right. I was
See,
glad I'd
I've
gotten this
become-
far.
I've become the critique of
No,
the
you
kid on the
should. You
show.
should.
Just Shadow
Shame on
Furry,
me.
Mickey,
Shame.
Mikey. Anyway.
A pox upon my whole
Honest.
household.
Okay.
I just want to go to Disneyland. I'm almost there.
Yes.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
Let's finish.
She hadn't been getting much sleep in the few weeks since they moved into Tony's house. Now that we've established that it's not a coyote, can we get you back in your bed? Okay. Sorry about the Mickey Mikey thing.
There's a lot of appeal to this story with the relationship between the mother and her son Mikey,
Yep.
and the scene is cute. I like that. So it depends on what genre you're in,
Yeah. Again-
where this will carry. This obviously is not a thriller unless this coyote really is a werewolf sneaking into the house. But anyway,
Yeah, I a couple of things that I would, and it's a sort of low tension opening that may or may not work as far as
Depending on the genre.
the genre
Right.
and what's coming next. But we need some sort of conflict somewhere soon. But
My
biggest-
kid comes into bed in the middle of the night, there's a conflict.
yeah, that's true.
Connor.
My biggest thing with this is I would ask that the author go study some deep point of view. I feel like this could be stronger if we were more deeply in her mind. When who was it? Somebody didn't like this line, Brock, about it was all she could do not to laugh. So that's sort of the author telling us how she feels.
Right.
If we
That
had
was
been
my
in
point.
her point of view and got that reaction, then it might be different. But I feel like we just need to be more deeply in her mind, seeing what her thoughts are.
and you maybe could write this in first person point of view. It might actually work better.
Might.
So
And having listened to the whole first page now, I feel that it didn't move forward very well. I mean, I liked the kid climbing in bed with mom and the coyote thing, that's fine. But I think you could have just moved off right away. A really quick mention that was the aunt and that had only been there a month and he wasn't used to the new sounds of the house, and then move on. Because I think that first page spent way too much time on just kind of that one punchline, the ant snoring like a coyote, which is funny.
But it was funny, and I think that was the first LOL that they got from the panel.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
Absolutely.
That's what I was going to say. I think that one thing that's really strong about this piece is that the dialogue feels very realistic. I felt like I was in an episode of Old Yeller. Wait, does that have episodes? I don't know. But I just felt like the dialogue. It doesn't.
Lassie.
Was that
come
a- oh,
on.
Lassie.
That was
I get
not-
those
oh, that was
Old
a
Yeller
novel
is,
and a
Yeah,
movie?
I don't know. I felt like the dialogue felt pretty realistic, back and forth. I think some of it did go on a little bit too long, but it was funny. So if we're looking at a comedy and we're trying to set up kind of their personalities, I think maybe just a little bit of tweaking to get it down to where it needs to be. But I felt like the characterization was good.
And if the movie Old Yeller was a setup for a series, it would be Remembering Old Yeller.
That's right.
Spoiler alert.
Probably wouldn't be
Wait,
funny.
weren't there puppies at the end?
I don't know.
I guess those are dogs, not coyotes, too. But you know what I'm saying. Like, we could feel where they were, kind of, from how they were speaking.
Yeah, I can picture that in my mind. I mean, so that was a scene as a parent who's had children climb into bed in the middle of the night. I could totally picture that in my mind. So that
Yeah.
was good.
Usually I got kicked. Just saying. Anyway.
All right,
Well,
so
I guess we got to vote.
Let's vote.
we're gonna vote.
Okay. Where are we going to start?
You.
Okay. I'm going to vote set with a contingency. It depends on the genre. In other words, I think that the story has and the scene has a lot of potential. I think maybe you need to use a different point of view. If it's a genre that again is that appeals to this or that would appeal to that audience, obviously this isn't a thriller, et cetera, but you might consider either you've got to polish this or maybe even consider changing it to first person point of view so you can throw in some of those things. So I still think though that there's there's some good things about the scene. So I'm gonna still say set with a borderline.
Yeah, and I'm sort of borderline too. I think it can be set, but it might be right, depending on where you're going with this next. I mean, something high tension needs to happen in the first chapter. So, I mean, this could just be an introduction to this, but yeah, so set.
I'm going to go with set as well. I think that it's mostly there. Maybe just clean it up to where it's moving forward a little bit faster on the storyline. But otherwise, I liked it.
I'm going to say set too. I think the characterization is really strong, but I think giving us more of something to worry about than just, well, the Coyote's a good something to worry about,
Have you
I
ever
guess.
slept with someone who snores? I mean,
That is a real problem. It just depends. If it's a comedy, I would definitely say that it's set. It just needs a little bit of tweaking.
I'd say it's set. The only thing I would change is Mikey to Mickey, really, and then just send it off.
All good.
Okay, well, did we get it right? Please comment below and let us know what you thought.
Time to give away books. We have a couple of books we're giving away this month. One is from lovely author Shannon Simons and her book Safe House. It is a mystery thriller with some romance and humor and is clean. That means no swearing or other things that would make you feel uncomfortable. Okay, so here's a little bit about.
Like kissing.
Well, we hope Christine's clean. I'm hoping there's kissing. About Safe House.
girls have cooties.
This is why you shouldn't let boys on your panel. Okay. In a small coastal town, Amber and
Hashtag
Kelly
me too.
know the deadliest people sleep down the hall. Will they let Grace in? As a victim's advocate, Grace James is used to rushing into trouble to save her victims from abuse or assault. And with handsome officer like Joe Hart at her side, Grace is sure there's nothing she can't do. But an ominous storm brewing on the Oregon horizon is about to change everything and bring with its dangers and revelations Grace and Joe never expected.
So, Hot Policeman.
I think there's a hot policeman.
Add it to your
Not-
Goodreads today to remind yourself that you're going to win it.
Yes.
By commenting
right.
this
So
month.
make comments. Lots of them.
And we actually have 2 books to give away.
Oh,
this
there's
month.
another book?
This month, my micro-publishing company, Pink Umbrella Books, is giving away a copy of Duck Duck Moose, which is coming out on the 20th of March. This is by Joy Heyer. She's a Virginia author, illustrator, super cute. It rhymes, which I love. So Duck Duck Moose, check it out. Ask for it at your library.
And how do we win?
You win by commenting in the comments below. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Instagram or right here on YouTube. We love any and all comments. And feel free to comment in all places for more chances, more entries.
More entries.
Wow.
Send in your comments.
Hot policeman.
And of course, in addition to the books, we offer some other prizes. Aaron?
Yes, so once a quarter, we're going to draw from our first page submissions an author who gets a lovely Shakespearean air freshener, which I think smells like B.O. Isn't that what they
I'm
smelled
sure.
like back then?
Yeah,
No,
right?
They had
No?
French
Don't think so.
perfume.
Oh, French perfume? Ooh, la la.
It doesn't smell like William Shakespeare.
Oh, then I misunderstood. You're going to get a lovely air
Smelling
freshener.
too good in the catacombs these days.
Ugh. All right. So be sure to send us your comments and send us your first page submissions at readysetwritepodcast@gmail.com. In addition to our quarterly prize of a William Shakespeare air freshener, we have additional yearly prizes.
That's right. We have a Get Out of the Slush Pile free from Shadow Mountain and also a first chapter critique.
And the same prize coming from Cedar Fort Publishing. So you'll get out of the slush pile with them and also the chapter critique.
Some great prizes we offer. Also, you can follow us at our podcast, Ready, Set, Write Podcast. You can find us on the internet. You can find us through Apple as well, through iTunes. And look for us on all of our social media. Also, look for our published books wherever good books are sold, because we do write occasionally, because that's what we do. And we'd like to thank Connor Blaylock for his technical support and helping us get this production put together.
I know the elephant just walked behind us. Feel it.
He's probably going to bleep all this out. But anyway, that's okay. Thank you, Connor. And of course, thanks to you for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube and to all the social media that we also subscribe to, and we're glad to interact with you anytime. Until next time.
Get ready.
Get set.
Right.
I'm waiting for people to subscribe. My take one.
Well, hurry up.
Subscribe.
It's annoying me.
I want to go home. Subscribe.
Please.